Hello, Hidden Pearls podcast fans. Welcome to week 15 of the season. We are super excited because the Niners are back in Cali, which means we're going to be back in Cali also. This week, we are only having Jimmie Ward on the show, so super excited for this interview. We get very football-y. I tried really hard to focus and understand all the things, but I'm not quite sure I did. But really, really great interview, super interesting in his mindset and all the things that he has accomplished. So we are very excited to welcome Jimmie to the podcast. So without further ado, let's get George, Pops, and Jimmie on.
Take two! Take two!
Woohoo! All right, guys, here we go. All right, Hidden Pearl Podcast fan, welcome to week 15, 49ers versus the Falcons. Just on it tonight. Niners are back home in California this week after a thriller in Ohio, bringing back an overtime victory over the Bengals, 26-23, with a heroic drive in overtime for the victory, secured by a 12-yard touchdown reception run by Brandon Aiyuk. Now at 7-6, they are right in the thick of things for a playoff spot with a chance to eliminate one of the contenders in the Atlanta Falcons, who visit Levi's Stadium this Sunday for what is a critical matchup in these final 4 weeks of the season. Joining us to talk all things Niners as well as fashion and fun is safetyJimmie Ward. Welcome, Jimmie, and thank you so much for being on the Hidden Pearls podcast.
Woohoo! Hey!
Hey.
I like it. It's my turn to say some nice things about you.
Let's go, George. Let's go.
I know. I'm going to do it in one take, though. Jimmie is originally born in Racine, Wisconsin, played his high school ball in Mobile, Alabama, then attended and played college ball at Northern Illinois, which is, fun fact, I played Jimmie Ward in college, and he had a pick six against the Iowa Hawkeyes and upset us in Kinnick State. That was 2012, right?
2013
or 12?
The second time, no, first time y'all beat us. That was 2012. The second time, 2013.
Chicago, right? At the Bears Stadium.
Yes, stadium. Yeah, Soldier Field. Yes, Soldier Field.
I didn't travel to that game, though, because I was redshirting. But I did see you guys beat us up in the next game. That was super fun. Awesome. Let's see. You're taken by the 30th pick in the first round of the 2014 NFL Draft. Another first-round draft pick we have on the show. We've had a lot of first-round draft picks, Jimmie. So thank you for coming on and continuing our really good, popular, important guests. You're taking this show to a whole new level. And let's see, you've been a mainstay in the Niners secondary since you joined the Niners. That's awesome. You've been here for, this is year what for you? 8?
Year 8. Yes.
Crazy. Does it feel like year 8?
No, it definitely doesn't.
Crazy.
Is this where I take over? Oh, it sounds like you paused.
Surprise!
So I didn't know if I needed to say anything. I'm sorry about that. I'm gonna say we cutting this up. So yeah, okay. My bad, Kittle. I didn't know if you was giving me the cue.
That's just how he interviews. It kind of goes jittery, So it's like
okay.
We don't know.
There's no right or wrong, Jimmie. If you got something to say in the gap, you can jump in and fill it. It's all good. So no rules.
Okay.
You're okay. All right, George.
You're fine. All right, we're going to start your background here, Jimmie. Okay. And what I talk about, it's Jimmie with an I-E. I like that because it's a big deal. And I do have one question for you. Are you the most important Jimmie on the team?
Oh, dang. Ooh. That's tough. I don't know if I would say that. If it's the other Jimmie is the one throwing the ball. I don't know.
True.
That's it. Yeah, I say if not, I'm the second, I guess.
Well, you were anyway. So you're Jimmie 1 and he's Jimmie 2, I guess.
Hey, thank you. Not to toot my horn, but I get it. Yeah,
you get it.
All right, now you're back. You're born in Wisconsin. I was born in Wisconsin. That's awesome. Madison, Wisconsin for me. Let's see, and then you're in Mobile, Alabama. How did you get from Wisconsin to Alabama?
My mom married my stepfather, and he's from Mobile, Alabama. So I guess she just felt like moving to Mobile, Alabama probably would be a better life for all of us. So, and that's the reason why we made the move. Glad we did.
What was your favorite thing about Alabama?
Sorry, it kind of skipped. Say it again.
What was your favorite thing about living in Alabama?
The weather.
I was gonna say, did you miss the Wisconsin winters?
Yes, only around Christmas because I got to see snow, and it's just a different feeling. And a lot of my immediate family is in Wisconsin, so I was sad when I moved when I was young because you don't understand. I didn't understand at the time why we're moving away from so many of our family members, but other than that, I feel like as I got older, I started to get used to Alabama. And like I said, the weather was great. The food was actually great. That's the main things I remember about, growing up in Mobile, Alabama, and football. Oh man, football is big down south.
It's different than up north. When I moved from Iowa to Oklahoma, I didn't realize how big football was, or like I thought football was important in like northern states. Like that's all that matters in the South. Literally, that is it. High school football. It's crazy.
Yes. Stadium is filled with fans. Oh, and just physicality. Like, did you feel like it was a difference in playing? Hold on. Did you ever play in the Midwest when you was young? Did you play football?
I was in Iowa for like 6 years, and I in Oklahoma my last 2 years of high school. So I played varsity ball like my sophomore year in Iowa, and it was much different than playing in Oklahoma.
Competition level too?
Yeah, I just thought like the good teams were like much better than the good teams in Iowa. It was kind of my take. Like the guys that we would play that were on like the best teams, like half their starting roster was a D1 recruit. Like,
wow.
Or they're all committed to play somewhere. And it was just that was wild.
So where did you develop your mentality? Oh man, you're supposed to be asking me questions.
No, dude, I like this. When did I develop my mentality?
Yeah, like why did you play like that? Since you said you only played in Oklahoma your last 2 years of high school compared to, growing up and playing in Iowa, in Wisconsin, well, mainly Iowa.
Like my mentality that I have now, how did I develop?
Physicality, like everything, your mindset, like where did you get it from? I know, I'm pretty sure you got it from your dad, but I'm pretty sure he had to teach you a lot. But I'm saying like it's still some stuff. It's still that 20 to 30% that you gotta go through stuff and experience on your own to like play to become a player like you now.
So I'll tell you this: high school, I was so soft. Dude. I was wide receiver and I was free safety. I didn't hit anybody. I got a bunch of interceptions and touchdowns. That's why I got a shot in college. I was the last offer on signing day for Iowa. Iowa is where I learned to bigger my mindset because I was 190 pounds going in there to play tight end while everyone else was 240 plus. And I just got abused, really. I got thrown around. I got pancaked a lot. And I was like, I had a coach there tell me, like, if you never learn how to run block, you'll never like sniff the field here. So that kind of helped me like with the blocking stuff. I made a focus on it. And then I think it was my redshirt sophomore year. There's a young guy that started over me in a bowl game because I wasn't playing very well. And that was kind of where my mentality shifted to, all right, like you got to figure your shit out. Otherwise you're never gonna, like, you don't have a chance. And then my next 2 years, it just like once you get an opportunity, you start playing, you just get confidence. And then it just kind of went off of that.
Dang. It's crazy. Like you adapted. Like most players can't do that. You adapted that late.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You gotta be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, it's your fault that you suck right now. And I did. And it worked out for me. And then my pops helped me out along the way. But wow, look at Jimmie should have his own podcast.
Okay.
I was going to actually, like, I'm saying this is just curious, because what you're saying, that's what my pops did for me. So I was going to ask you about that too. I was like, what's some of the takeaways? Dang, I'm still asking you questions. But anyway, what's some of the takeaways that Bruce was telling you, like when you was struggling, when you was going through that situation?
He got me a lot. My dad coached me my entire life. And so like I was used to him being my coach. I was a lot different. I don't know if I shared everything with my parents because it's one of those things. It's like I want to handle it on my own. But he always told me, just you got to give your best effort every single day. You got to try to get better at something else, and you just got to be able to, understand that we got to look yourself in the mirror. Like that was one thing I got from him was, And you got to look at what the issues are, and then when like you decide when if you love something or not. And that's kind of what my take on football was. And like I said, you just always told me, you got to try to have fun and you got to try to get better at something every single day. And I just kind of took that to heart and just grinded through it. And my dad played at Iowa too, so I kind of was following in his footsteps. And I was just like, yeah, I got to make it through here because my dad did. And so I just that was one of my other mindsets. Just just want to not let him down. It's the reason I kind of tried so hard.
I feel like it's cool too, because like your siblings, like you got a house full of athletes, right? If I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, Emma played
volleyball. But your brother played basketball, right? Did he play football too?
My brother, Claire's brother, plays basketball.
Claire's brother played basketball. And what sport did Claire play? Was Claire athlete too?
She played basketball at Iowa.
She played basketball. Okay,
And our mom played.
And your mom played too?
She was basketball and softball.
Jimmie, my mom's a 2-sport Hall of Famer in Iowa.
Wow.
Softball and basketball, baby.
That's why your dad's still jacked. All right, Bruce.
I would try to keep up.
That's cool, man. That's really cool. Like I didn't have that. Like I just feel like it's easy for you to get pushed. Like you just, when you look around, all your peers, your siblings, your parents, they was outstanding athletes growing up, and they just had whatever it took to succeed in sports, like that mindset, physicality. And then, I'm pretty sure like in their careers, and they went, they had their ups and downs, that adversity that they had to persevere through. So, which is cool. And it's like, that's just something like, I feel like I had to do a lot of that on my own. Like my dad, my stepfather, the one who really introduced me to football, like growing up. Like, I don't know if you, I know kind of how I got started, but I kind of got started in Alabama. Like when I was in Wisconsin, my 2 older brothers used to play football. And I used to watch them. I used to be the youngest. I'm like, man, I want to play. Because, it looked fun in Wisconsin. I just remember seeing them taking their pads off of stuff. The only sport I ever played growing up, I just fell in love with it when I was young. But I used to always play once we moved to Alabama, I saw the competition shift. That's why I asked you that question about the physicality and just competition. Like, was it a difference in the Midwest compared to Oklahoma? Because that's how it was in Alabama. Like I saw my brother ran for like 200 touchdowns, just be dominant on both sides of the ball, to going to Alabama. And this first year, he only scored 2 touchdowns because the competition was crazy. And them guys out there, when they hit, like it's crazy. And they start at the age of 4. I don't know how old were you when you started in Iowa? What was the age limit when you could play football, tackle football?
Tackle football was 5th grade.
5th grade?
Yeah.
So, okay. So hold on.
Yeah.
How old? I forgot how old you normally are in 5th grade.
5th grade?
11 or 12.
11, 12. Okay. Guys in Alabama starting at the age of 4. Like in Wisconsin, it's actually females that get to play football. Like in the South, they don't let women play football, which well, actually, besides one, it was one girl that played. She was pretty good though. They let her play, so she was pretty good. I ended up hitting her and chipping her hip, and I think that was her last year playing. But that's the only one, the only exception. That's the only exception. But back to the story is just I'll end up watching my brothers play once, watch them go through what they needed to go through, and they, my brothers end up getting good. My second brother, the second brother, he was kind of the brother. He was good, he was fast, but he wasn't as physical as my older brother. But my stepfather used to take us in the back before I even started playing tackle football. He got me pads, and he made me tackle my 2 older brothers, or try to tackle. And I remember my oldest brother used to just, I couldn't really tackle him, but I used to tackle my middle brother. He used to try to run me over and be real physical with me, but he was scared to tackle the oldest brother. But I had no fear. Like as a young kid, I was like 8. I was 7 or 8, and I used to try to tackle my oldest brother because I didn't I just didn't have that sense of fear. And I got used to tackling bigger people. I got used to tackle people who weighed more than me because I was small too. And that's the reason why, like, I didn't have too many offers coming out of high school. And when I got drafted, that's what they would say. That's the reason why I moved around at cornerback and nickel, because they said my body type. And when I asked you, when I was so amazed when I said, "Oh man, you adapted," and when you said you got to college, the blocking and being physical and all that, it's because I had to adapt, and that's what I continue to have to do. I had to adapt when they changed my position, when I get hurt, different coaching changes. I'm random too with this. You know, you see me. I'm sorry. I'm just a random person. But
no, you're good. But well, let's talk a little bit then. So you got started in Alabama. Your stepfather kind of got you going. You're beating the heck out of your brothers in the backyard. Your older brother's crying and in therapy because he's just getting the shit kicked out of him. But eventually you graduate. You guys had a heck of a career there. I think quarterfinals at the end, 10-3 your senior year. And then you jump off to Northern Illinois. So I know you said you didn't get too many offers, but tell us a little bit about recruiting, and then how was that transition to Northern Illinois, and why'd you pick Northern Illinois? I don't know what other offers you had, but how'd you end up at Northern Illinois?
I actually end up my recruit, the guy, he's a D-line coach, the guy who was in charge of recruiting, his name was Ken Daigle. He came up to me one day and he asked me, what school, what university did you want to attend? And I told him, well, I want to go to LSU, Oklahoma, or Wisconsin. And that's what he did. That's what he did, Bruce. He laughed in my face. He laughed in my face and said, you don't bring any intensity to the game. And I was like, what? I'm like, bro, I was like, man, I blocked punts in high school. Like, I played linebacker in 6A football in Alabama. All these guys I'm tackling, they committed to Alabama. Like, I'm embarrassing them at practice. I'm doing it in the games. I feel like I'm the best safety. Moving to safety my junior season. I'm like, but I'm telling him this. And right then I realized that he wasn't going to try to push my name. He wasn't going to recruit me. So I stole my film. I sent it out to a guy I know who make highlights, and I sent it to every college in the country. And I think like one college got back to me. Well, actually, take that back. I got an offer from Southern Illinois. That was my head coach. First and second job before he became the head coach of my high school. And I realized he ended up having to deal with him. Like, I think they used to give him something like to send players there. And he wanted me to go there. And I did. I committed. That's the only offer I had, because he was throwing away college letters too. One of my teammates gave me some college letters that was in the trash that he threw away during the season. Like, he didn't believe in giving kids their college letters in the season. And we used to have to get it out the trash. It was like Varsity Blues. If you ever watched that, yeah. If you ever watched it, that's how it is in the South, man. It's bad, man. It's like a lot of these high school coaches try to, control these kids' lives. And like, that's my life. But besides that, so I committed to Southern Illinois, and once Northern Illinois came by, and they told me what they could, it's a full scholarship. Both of them was full scholarship, but the difference is like I get more money. Like I need it. Like I don't come for money and this and that. So I got a full scholarship. I get money a certain amount each month. I get a meal plan each month. And I'm like, man, I need it. I'm finna go away from my family. And they got a little to send me, but not much. So I got to fend for myself. So I decommitted for Southern Illinois, which my head coach wasn't happy. High school wasn't happy. He ended up making an announcement and said, don't decommit from colleges. And I'm like, well, who says that? Like, they're like, bro, like, well, I don't get it. But besides that, I went to Northern Illinois. I decommitted from Southern Illinois and went to Northern Illinois. And that's the reason I became a Husky. Okay.
All right. So you go back up, and not totally, you didn't really grow up in Wisconsin, but you're used to it a little bit. So what were some of the difficult transitions? Or maybe it was easy, I don't know. But like, what was the transition like for you, adjusting from the high school ball you're at and then moving up north because Northern Illinois is just outside of Chicago, and that whole deal back into the Midwest.
I just have an interim question. Like when you said you stole your film, I'm picturing like some like super undercover stuff. Like, did you break into something? Like, could we get some? I feel like we just like skipped over that part. Could we maybe get a backstory on that?
We picked the film room door, me and a few more guys who was throwing away the letters. We picked the film room and we stole the little CDs. They used to put it on the CDs of different games. We stole that and we handed them out. Like everybody got one and we went our separate ways, and if you made your highlight, and that's how we got it. Because they didn't even want to give us the games. They didn't want to make us. They made my highlight just off playoff games, a cutoff just off, not my whole career. Like they did the blue chip players that was on my team. You just threw something together. So that's what I did. Well,
interesting. Okay, cool. All right, so then level of play from Alabama into Northern Illinois. What was that like?
Oh, it was easy, man. I played my troop. My NIU coach didn't, and when I got that offer from NIU, I went on my visit and I was really waiting on another kid. And the only reason I got that offer from the other because the other kid was a 3-star player. He ended up committing to Syracuse. So I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Yeah.
So, and then he called me late and that's when he gave me that. So I was like, yes, even though I know I wasn't the first choice, but I'm gonna make it happen. But once I got there, he told me, he's like, yeah, you probably gonna redshirt, because he had another safety from North Carolina. And it was some older guys too. But once I got there, I realized it's like, man, you got safeties that can't hit. Like the older guy, it was one safety that could play now. He was from Chicago. He was one safety, but the rest of them, they wasn't safeties. Like they were more finesse. They wasn't hitters. I don't know. They were just happy to be in college. Like I just feel like no offense, you could enjoy college, but I needed that opportunity to change my life. So that's when I went to college. That's what I was thinking about. I needed a change of scenery, and this the only opportunity I have to change my life. That's how I look at it. I didn't have a plan B. I didn't have a plan C. I didn't grow up seeing a doctor around in my family. I didn't grow up seeing a judge, a lawyer. I didn't grow up seeing those things. I grew up seeing a lot of negative things in sports, and that's it. So I know I had one opportunity to make something of myself, and that's how I attacked it. And once first time we had camp, I remember the reason I didn't get redshirted is because it was the biggest running back on our team. I went and I hit him and got a TFL, and it wasn't just a soft hit. It was a lot of contact. And right then and there, my head coach knew I wasn't going to get redshirted. So, and yeah, that's great story.
Goddamn, Jim. Hey, fun fact. I was let's see. I got a scholarship to Iowa because 3 guys committed to other schools. So like one guy went to another school and they gave the offer to a different kid who was in my class. And then another guy didn't go. And so they gave it to another kid. And then the third guy, and they were all DBs. This was funny too. The third DB also didn't go to Iowa. So then I got that scholarship. I was the last signing.
That wasn't quite. They'd made 3 offers. They had 2 scholarships for 3 guys, and they had the 2 out. And then those guys nixed it. And then the one of those guys did take it, but they had 1 left over, but they were shooting 2. And they'd offered all 3 guys, and they told them whichever first 2 guys take it, but 2 of the 3 declined. And so there was 1 left over. Because when they called me the night before and they said, well, it kind of depends, that there was enough bodies that decided not to go to Iowa. So it all worked out. Yeah. Then they called in the morning at like 10:30 or something. Yeah. Right.
I knew it was a reason I like you, GK. I knew it was a reason.
There was a reason. So help me out a little bit on. All right.
Okay. All right. Well, we've covered a bunch of ground. So your time at Northern Illinois with the Huskies was pretty good. You guys were a pretty good team. Junior year played Florida State in the Orange Bowl. You were named, and then senior year, 3rd team All-American and all that kind of stuff. So you guys played some good ball that time, a lot of wins, all that kind of stuff. You guys were fighting to get into BCS bowl games and all that kind of stuff. So what were some of the kind of big memories or high points for you during your Northern Illinois career?
I made good friends. I made some great relationships.
Jim, who's your quarterback at Northern Illinois?
Jordan Lynch.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jordan Lynch. He was a dog.
Dog.
Yeah, I remember him.
He was a dog. Chandler Harnish was right before him. He was a dog too. But yeah, just like guys like that, man. And then I just feel like I had a lot of school spirit, something that I didn't have. And I don't know if that counts, but I feel like it counts because I didn't have school spirit in high school. And when I had to change of scenery, as in going to Northern Illinois, I said that to myself, like, man, I got to enjoy school. Like I gotta, support other sports. I gotta enjoy it more, because I was just seemed like in high school, I was just there. Like, and so I feel like I got involved and I met people that wasn't involved in sport, well, football or in sports, but mainly football. And I still got some of those connections until today. I follow them on social media, follow some people on social media as in Instagram and Facebook. I don't have Twitter. I need to get one, right? GK, Pro Bowl. But yeah.
Go for you.
But yeah, that's the main thing. And winning, I got to experience that in college. Like, who could say they had 4 winning seasons and went to their conference championship 4 years in a row? So that was cool.
Jimmie, I feel like that's a lot of awareness though, to realize, like, to go from high school to college and be like, I need to be more present and I need to really have school spirit and I need to bring this intensity. Like, was there somebody kind of advising you that you needed to do this? Or was it just all kind of you looking in the mirror and being like, I have to, I mean, I know what you said about like, I have to make this work, but like, was there like a specific moment or like some kind of energy that you felt like came over you or like some advice, or can you kind of take us through that?
Yes, it came from me staying up at 2 to 3 a.m. watching movies like Not Another Teen movie, another high school movie, just stuff like that. And I'm just, I was like, man, them guys having fun in high school and they're participating in school plays and this and that. And then watching college movies. And I'm like, man, it seemed like they're having the time of their life. Man, they're sports players, but they involved in this and this and that. So I didn't want to regret anything. And I feel like in high school, like I said, I feel like I was just a lame. Just not doing anything. I wasn't just playing football and that's it, not participating in other sports, not really pushing myself. So I think that's the reason why. That was my why.
That's a good why.
Hopefully that's good.
Yeah, and you came out with some relationships, and I've been working on. I was listening to a podcast, and I wouldn't do the whole thing, but it was kind of the urgency of now, and just about being healthy and having opportunities and all that kind of stuff, and just not worrying about what isn't, and not worrying about what you don't have, and not worrying about any of that shit, but just like living in gratitude and joy and appreciation with what you do have. And I mean, still working towards stuff, but not being so fixated on what's not right, and just appreciating what is. And so that's a pretty cool perspective on that. So good. Okay. George, why don't you talk to him about being a first round draft choice?
Ooh, Jamie Ward. Okay, so like I said, we have a lot of first-round draft picks on deck. Who have we had? Laken Tomlinson, Alex Mack, Mike
Armstead.
No, we got some Alex Mack, right? Did I say that?
Yeah, Alex Mack.
We've got some guys on here. So thanks for joining us. What
first rounder club? I'm gonna have to get like a little plaque of the first round dudes that are on, and then we'll have a little plaque for the undrafted free agents and fifth rounders, because we've had those guys on too, because the survivors, right? The fucking clawing and scratching. Okay. Anyway, sorry, George, go.
Yeah. What was it like to be a first round draft pick? Like, did you know you were going to be a first round draft pick?
I don't know. I feel like I should have, but I'm pretty sure a lot of guys felt like they should have. But I'm trying to just go back to think of just I won't forget the moment. And it was a great moment, because when you think about all the hard work and dedication that you put into something, and you reach one of your life goals, I feel like, and You get drafted the first. Actually, I didn't know how surreal it was too until it happened. Because you just, it's the people around you. The people around you will let you know like what's going on. Because I just was like, oh man, that's cool. But I saw, I was like, I was happy, but it's like, I'm like, man, I got an interview. I got to fly tomorrow. I got an interview, and I got to be ready to play against some of the best athletes in the world. So that was in my mind, and I was like, oh, I got to get better. So, like I said, I tried to enjoy the moment, but just my competitive side, it was like, it was so much to think about. It was such a big rush that I had a migraine that whole night. So I tried to go to the bar. I tried to go to the bar that night, and because there was a lot of people at my house, because I didn't want nobody there. Like they asked for the cameras to be there. I was in Mobile, Alabama, coming back from New Orleans, and buying my mom a gift for her birthday. And I told my parents, I was like, yeah, I don't want nobody at the house, man. I get back to the house, and there's a bunch of people out there. I'm like, man, who's all these people? I told everybody I don't want nobody in the house. So I'm sitting there, and once I get to the room, I got back, and it was like the 17th or 18. Dang, I can't even talk. 18th pick. And I want to say I'd seen HaHa get drafted. No, right. Kevin Pryor get drafted first. Kevin Pryor. And I talk about that too. I seen Kevin Pryor get drafted first, and I was like, okay. Then I seen HaHa get drafted. You know what? I take that back. I think Kevin Pryor got drafted either 12 or 13, and then I want to say HaHa got drafted 15 and 16. Oh, can y'all see me?
We can. There you go.
Okay. All right. And HaHa got drafted like 15, 16, and then Deion Buchanan got drafted to Arizona like in, I want to say 25th, 26th, and I didn't get drafted. I was the fourth safety to get drafted. And that night, I went to a bar with my cousin, and we was just chilling at the bar, and I was like, and I had sweats on, and like Alabama, like they kind of cracked down on that, like you got on sweats or anything, you're not getting in the bar. And then I was just like, hey man, I'm so and so, just got drafted, and they let me in. And I was like, dang, that's my first time ever going somewhere with sweats on, with a cap down south. And not to mention I'm black. It's like you don't get, right. I'm just saying, you don't get in bars in Alabama with hoodie sweats, and especially being black. So once they did, I was like, oh Jimmie, oh yeah, come on in. I was like, wow. I said, okay, this is pretty cool. And then I'm not even a big drinker, so I drunk like 1 shot, 2 shots to kind of get the headache away. And then I still didn't hit me, and that's the only thing I really remember from that. But it was a very joyful, exciting moment, I would say.
Hey, tell us about the drive to New Orleans. Is that the purse story?
Yes, that's the purse story.
You want to share that with folks? That's pretty cool about you and your mom.
Okay, yeah, my mom, like she's very she's into church, Christian background, all praying woman. Like she was the one who kept saying I was gonna go first. She's like, "You gonna go first? Like I don't care what nobody else say. My God said you're gonna go first." And I was like, "Oh, okay, mom. All right." I was like, all right, I understand. I was like, and I said, this shit, you gotta believe. I was like, Mom, I believe I'm gonna go first. It's like I put enough hard work in. I would think I'm gonna go first. And but I end up getting my first check off the Panini cards where I signed, and that's the biggest check I ever had. It was $18,000. And then my agent was like, you know what? You keep that. I don't want none of that. That's your money. It's like, all right, cool. So I was just it took a long time for me to spend that $18K. It's different story now. But I was right. Like, man, I got $18K, and I just kept looking at my bank. I was like, God, I got $18K. And then my mama's birthday, I was like, man, I'm gonna buy my mama something nice. Like I never seen her walking around with a Louis purse. So my best friend drove me down there, and I was like, I'm thinking New Orleans was like an hour and a half. I realized it was like 2 hours and a half. It's like, golly. So that's the reason why I didn't get back until midway through the draft. But it ended up finding a purse. I think I had to spend like think it was like 1,500. But I was at the time, I was like, golly, 1,500, that's a lot of money. It's like, you know what? My mama deserved it. You know, I never seen her with this type of purse. So I'm gonna get her that. And got her the purse, bought me like a little Fendi belt. I remember I had to get something for me. But
well, yeah, sure.
Yeah. But just driving back, just thinking, I was like, man, I got my phone on too, just in case I get a phone call early. I'm just sitting back and I was just thinking, I was like, man, I get drafted in the first round. That'd be pretty cool. I don't know. I got my mama a purse. Like, man, this is cool. But I don't know. That's I don't know why I changed my voice like that. But it's just me, you know, talking and my inner self, my mind. But yeah, that's the story.
Well, so did you just like walk in the door and give it to her, or like how did you?
Well, that's when I seen all the people there. So it's like once I got there, I saw people that drove from Wisconsin. I'm like, man, what is they doing here and this and that? So I was like, I gave her to her in the back and stuff. So she hugged me and stuff, but I mean, she wasn't even excited about the purse. She was excited about the draft. So I was like, oh, so yeah, that's the story.
That's awesome. I bet she was excited about it. I bet it hit her.
You drove almost 6 hours on draft day. You're hilarious.
Yeah, man. Just made me feel better, man. Doing something for my mom and just somebody else that I just feel like be happy about it.
Yeah, I had this is a fun one. So at the combine, I don't know if they did it when you were there, but they did. If you wore Adidas cleats and you ran the fastest 40, you got like 10K.
Oh, I heard it.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, I got a shot here. And because I knew I was gonna run a good time. I knew I wasn't faster than Evan Ingram, but he had to deal with Nike already. And so I knew he wasn't gonna wear them. And Howard wore Nikes too. And so I ran a 4.52, and the next fast was like I beat a guy by like 0.01, and I won 10K, and they gave it to me like a week later. And I was still, because I was training at Iowa at this point after the combine. And so like I went on it was one of the most, like I had 10K hit my bank account and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And I went out with all of my friends like 3 nights in a row. It was an absolute fun. It was an absolute.
Yeah, I know you had fun.
Yeah, not much of that made it to the savings account, but it's all right. Shit happens. So, okay, well, let's jump then. So first round. So, I guess, we can't be here for 2 hours because you've been through a lot. You had a lot of different head coaches and transitions, and they moved you around and all that kind of stuff. So, I guess, getting to the Niners and then transitioning the league, I guess I'll offer a couple questions and then you can kind of go where you want with it. I think people will be kind of interested. I guess we're always looking, like in that transitionary period, were there any players that really like said, hey, Jimmie, here's how you do things, or showed you around or kind of helped you make that transition? So I'm just always curious about that. And then some of the lessons you've learned along the way, and then what maybe some of those, years were like in the Niners with the turnover with the coaches, playing different positions. And I know you had some injuries in there as well. So, I mean, it wasn't like, all sugar cane and roses and all that kind of stuff for you right off the bat. I know being a first rounder, but it has been a lot of work. You put a lot of work into it to be at this point. So anyway, there's just a couple thoughts in there. So a little bit, how about, were there any players along the way in your first couple of years that helped make a difference for you and helped you be successful?
Or was there anyone that you like just watched and you thought you learned things from them just from afar?
Man, that was, I'm just yeah.
No, it's all good, brother.
I got to pause on it. I'm just trying to think how I want to answer. And like, I was first round where, let me just tell you the type of the room I'm going in. So, Eric Reed was a first round a year before me. So, Trent Baalke ended up drafting another first round that next year, 2014. You got and then not to mention they moved me to nickel. They lost Carlos. There was a guy named Carlos used to play nickel. So when I got there, I knew of Eric Reed, and I was like, oh, Eric Reed, this and that. I was like, man, that's cool. And they brought in Antoine Bethea, so I guess they brought him for other safety. So I didn't know they ever was going to move me to safety. What I did in college, so I was just playing nickel, and I had a rough year in nickel, and I really didn't have anybody to lean on, like my coach, I would say, but everybody was. I didn't realize I was going into. I didn't know it was a what you call it, remake, what they call it, remake years or rebuild
Rebuilding.
years. Yeah, I didn't know I was going into that. People was telling me you going into a playoff team. It's like, okay, I'm gonna play. Yeah, you got Cap, you got this guy, you got Patrick Willis and this and that. So I just started to see everything unfold. I came into the DB room and I saw like a lot of guys, not Eric Reed. Eric Reed had a good attitude, Antoine Bethea, but some of the cornerbacks, like, man, hey, their attitude and just cold shoulder. And I was like, golly, but I talked sometimes, but we didn't talk to too many of the older players. Like Eric Reed a little bit, talked to Eric Reed, Antoine Bethea a little bit, but Antoine Bethea took a guy that was undrafted under his wing. I didn't get that. I didn't get too many tips. Like I had to figure it out in the game. I got beat. I got hurt. I always got put in that fire because when you're first round, they want to see you produce. You got to play.
Right.
So I can when I got my welcome to the NFL game, man, it was just rough. I cried in the shower. I can't lie. I cried in the shower. I gave up 3 tugs on Monday night. Man, these fans hated me. Probably still do. Like, yes, Bruce. I laugh about it now, but I cried, like, because it's like, man, bro, like, what the? I didn't understand how to cover bigger wide receivers. Like, didn't nobody teach me? And I feel like my coaches would have taught me that, at least some of the older players, like, hey, man, you gotta cut underneath. You gotta get underneath, like at the breaking route and this and that. So I got beat on that, and I basically taught myself how to do it just by getting beat. So getting beat and then just the injuries, I just learned how to take care of my body, just find different ways to take care of my body. And I didn't realize just like how much in need of a stable quarterback and D-line, you need that. Like because I came from a system that you didn't need a D-line to win games. I come from the MAC conference. I didn't realize how important that was. I didn't realize how important the trenches was like offensive line, defensive line. So when you got all these players retiring. It was linebackers retiring. Patrick Willis was gone. Some of the defensive linemen was gone. It was people getting into it with the coaches. Like I witnessed all this. I'm like, I witnessed the head coach and the GM bumping heads. So I'm sitting through the storm and all this, and I'm going through injuries, and not to mention, once I started that second year when I played a full season, I learned different techniques of nickel, and I was like, okay, I started to get back, because the most difficult thing that I had to learn and had to adapt to going into the league was the 5-yard rule, where you can't touch a wide receiver within after 5 yards. Like I got a few flags. I was like, golly, how do I supposed to cover these guys? Because I don't really know. I don't know a patient step yet. I didn't know yet until I got moved to corner, like that 3rd or 4th year. And that's when I developed. I didn't even know what I was doing at corner, but I ended up developing. I adapt. So that's the reason why when I'm so amazed when you said that, Kittle, I was like, man, you adapt. Because that's what you kind of got to do. You got to, when you get put in that fire, man, you better turn to, you gotta involve. You gotta turn into the human flame. What's the dude off Fantastic Four? Human Torch. Human Torch. Yeah.
Torch.
You gotta adapt. And I ended up adapting. And I got better as the years went on. So that's why, and then I missed a lot of games. And so a lot of people asked me, it was like, man, how long you think you're gonna play? And I was like, I don't know. I feel good. I missed so many games, and I got put in so many different positions that once you put me back in this position, this safety position, and I'm doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, it just slowed down the game for me, because I always had the knack for tackling. and I just had to get some different techniques and covering and stuff. So, and I witnessed everything else that was happening. So if I ever go through that again, I basically know how to maneuver. Like if the whole, and that's the thing that made me so happy too, is when we find Jimmy Garoppolo, because he could. I played with him in college. I played against him at when he played at Eastern Illinois. Yeah, we beat him, but he did throw for like 6 passing TDs. That's why I liked him coming out. So I was happy we got him. But yeah, and I saw that. I was like, man, having a quarterback, having a good O-line, good defensive line, it's like, man, that's so important. Like other pieces, the skill piece is important too, but it's just like I saw when we didn't have that as a team, like how beat up your skill players get on offense and defense. Like it's tough, and especially with coaches too.
Do you remember in 2018 when we forced 2 turnovers the whole year?
Yes,
that was tough.
Yes, that was and man, just imagine I'm a part of that. That I don't even know what was I playing cornerback? I think I was playing cornerback at the time, but
I think back and forth that year.
And I was back and forth this year.
Yeah, and then we had like 2 to 4 every game. Like we were just terrible with the ball security. That was, yeah, dude. Because we had a bunch of injuries that year, but then it's crazy. Like you go from that, and then the next year we have a dominating D line with 6 first-round draft picks on it. It kind of makes your life a little bit easier on the secondary.
Yes, and another thing, what happened too? I'm sorry I left this one out, but we ended up developing a standard. Like, man, I didn't know what a standard was. I'm saying I know the definition of a standard, but like I saw what a standard is. I'm like, man, that's when Coach Cowden came and they kept talking about standard. And once we end up developing that standard, man, the younger guys just came in and followed suit. That's why you see guys like Fred, Debo, Aziz, who else? DJ come along and Kittle. But you what year? How long was Kyle there?
I was his rookie draft class.
So you was his first draft class.
Yeah, because the best part, Jimmie, was when I first showed up as a rookie, like for rookie minicamp, like they showed us tape of how to practice and how not to practice. And you know what I'm gonna talk about here? And there's this clip. Yeah, there's this clip because if you have a new coaching staff come in, you show up early for OTAs to do like some extra practice. And so we show up and they've shown us tape of the practices, and it's just a clip from like the previous week. And we run a keeper, and Pierre Garçon's running across the field to the right. Brian Hoyer hits him. We're in just jerseys and helmets, right? That's it. And Pierre Garçon turns up field. Jimmie Ward comes like a rocket across the screen and just levels him, puts his shoulder right through like his chest and smoked him out of bounds. Unreal hit. And then Kyle's just like, hey, look, we do not do this. Like, great hit, great play. No, don't even think about doing it. And I'll never kid. I was like, oh my God, that's Jimmie Ward. Crazy. I got to practice against him today. I'm going to die. I thought that was one of my favorite clips because it was the first time I ever got to enter. Like, I met Jimmie Ward through film, and it was him murdering somebody. It was amazing.
You know what's so funny about that? It's 2 things I got to say about that. The first thing is, I remember because I was banged up, so I remember watching camp when we first had camp. Coach Kyle made a few of those camps live because he wanted to see. But that was OTAs, so I should never did that. But he wanted to see like what he had. So that told me right there that when they came in, they didn't know too many of the players. Like they didn't go back and watch a bunch of film. They just went off of what guys told them around the building, like the personalities and what type of players you have for your team. So I feel like that was sketchy because it's some scouts and rests around the building that don't like certain players. So, and I think that, and once they understood who they had as a team, I think that's when everything kind of got mellowed, everything chilled out. Second thing, Bruce, have you seen Pierre before in person?
Yeah.
He has a mean demeanor. Like,
shit. He's a
so
badass dude now. Yeah.
So I feel like I had to hit him because he had the ball, he was dropping, and it was like, oh man, I gotta hit him, I gotta get lowered. And I don't know, that was my instincts kicking in because that's his first year. And I was like, man, this guy, because all I remember is Coach Kyle keep talking about. It's like, yeah, he's mean. He's a mad, angry Haitian. I'm like, all right, okay, so that's a threat to me on the field. So I'm like, all right, I don't know how this guy's gonna be. It's like, is this guy a fighter? Like, so I just didn't know. So, but yeah, we end up, we settled that. But yeah, I had a third thing to say, but but I could tell you about the first time I met Kittle. So, first time I met Kittle, I was banged up, but I'm watching practice. So I'm on the sideline and I'm watching practice. So they brought Kittle in. I'm like, Kittle wear loose pads. His practice pants was real loose. His jersey was loose. I don't know if he had an armband. I think he had the gloves on, no bands, and you got a little bit more swag now, Kittle. And I got more swag too. I ain't had swag either back then. But I was like, I used to look at him run routes and stuff, and I was like, before I even seen him like go against somebody, I was like, man, there's something about him. I was like, he seemed athletic. And I was just sitting there because, I feel like I know football players. And I was like, man, he seems athletic and stuff. I was like, I'm going to wait. But he seems pretty good because I was seeing you running your routes and stuff. And the only person who ran their routes that was good, that was in the lead a long time was Vance. And then it was a play that happened. It was Kittle was getting covered by, I want to say, a linebacker and Eric Reed. And they threw the ball deep. And Kittle jumped up, grabbed the ball, basically mossed on two people. And I'm like, this wasn't just anybody he mossed on. I forgot who the linebacker was, but he mossed on Eric Reed. Eric Reed was one of the first round, draft pick, coming from LSU. Supposed to be one of the best. So I'm like, golly, he just caught the ball over two people. I was like, okay. And then Eric Reed went Pro Bowl. I was like, okay, that's cool. It's like, man, I knew he was athletic. Okay. All right, I'm gonna keep an eye on him. I'm gonna keep watching him. So next day come. I don't know if it was the next day or next couple of days. Kittle, you remember all this? You remember this?
I think it was Ahmad Brooks was the linebacker.
Yeah, it could be. But he do it again on two people again. So he did it again. And I was like, all right, I knew I wasn't tripping. Okay, yes. All right. He's an athlete. He's athletic. Okay, yes. Coach Kyle, they found the one. And then that's when I started learning out more about Kittle. And I'm talking to people around. It's like, hey, man, where is he from? And this and that. What school, what university he went to? When they said owl, I said, ding, ding, ding. Light bulb went off in my head because I was like, they produce great tight ends.
Damn straight.
I said, but I never seen somebody that moved like that. Like normally all their tight ends are just huge, big. Kittle, you're big, you're jacked, but you got bigger on the way. The longer you stay in the league, you got more jack. Yeah. But when you first got in the league, you was bigger than me, of course, but you wasn't as jacked. And I was like, I'm like, man, he's athletic. So, and I was like, that's different. He's like a different breed from Iowa. I was like, oh, that's cool. And ever since then, you start making, and that's why it was no surprise to me when you started taking off and they started throwing you the ball more. And one thing that was amazing to me, which is crazy, Bruce, this is crazy right here, but this is so true. You will feel like everybody in the league knows how to tackle. You will feel like people watch film and know you got to tackle certain guys certain ways. It's year 8 for me, and this guy still don't know how to tackle. And Kittle run the ball the same way. I'm like, when you watch film, it's like some guys be trying to hit you up high. Kittle, I would not hit you up high. I'm sorry. You run the ball too hard. You too jacked. And I'm a wrap tackle. They don't even wrap up. There's some guys that don't even wrap up with Kittle. And it's like in every game, breaks tackles, drag somebody. That's why I say he reminds me of Spike off Little Giants. It's like dragging people. I'm like, man, hey, I guess, it's crazy that you get to the highest profession and guys don't know how to tackle. It's just crazy. And you show people every week and they still don't see it. It's crazy. But
Jimmie, that's crazy things that, so like when I was a rookie, Coach Embry would be like, hey, look, it's really weird, but I promise you people won't tackle you if you just run really fast at them. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense at all. And I just started doing it. And it's crazy that some people like take creative angles and get out of the way. Like it's a wild thing. And like, I mean, I get like there's business decisions, like fuck, I get it, like sure. But like I was always, it's just there's like there's certain guys, like there's a couple guys in every team that like they're gonna bring it no matter what. But you can't tell me there's not one full secondary where every single person is just going to dive through a guy's knees without hesitating. Like there's not. I think we're pretty close. Like I think most of our guys will throw their bodies on the line, but a majority of guys they're like, someone else will make the tackle, and it's absolutely bonkers to me. And it's the reason like that's why me and Debo and Aiyuk have so much success just running, because people they kind of hit you and then they don't hit you, they don't wrap up, and you just fall forward for 10 yards. It's really fun.
And when people ask me, that's why when I get interviewed a lot, and people ask me, it's like, hey, man, who's the toughest person to guard and this and that? And I was like, man, well, I just started thinking around. I was like, man, I get to go against them every day. And now I will give it that's behind you. I'll give it to Debo, because Debo's starting to realize who he is. He's starting to find out who he is. Like, hey, man, these guys ain't tackling. They don't want to tackle me. And you're a wide receiver with a running back body. So it's like he's getting it. He's finding out who he is as a person, as a player. But Kittle found it out already. So, and he know what he can do. Kittle knows he's bigger. So when I'm covering him, I had to switch it up. I was like, man, when I'm pressing, I don't like to press him too much, because right at the breaking route, he shoves me off because he's stronger than me. He's bigger than me. So I'm like, yeah, at least so, because I'm trying to undercut him, but he won't let me undercut him. And if Jimmie throws a good ball, only thing I can do is just try to tackle him. That's it. And if you don't be prepared, and a lot of people like that get in trouble with Kittle. Like you can put your best corner on Kittle to try to cover him, but if you're not willing to tackle after the catch, you're gonna get embarrassed, because Kittle he's fast enough and he's athletic enough to take it to the house. And that's what I saw. That's why I got so much respect for you. And I was like, I've been watching. Like I said, I know good ball players, man. You're a great ball player. That's why the reason why I was like, I'm not gonna give it to Kelsey. I'm like, I like Kelsey. I still want to guard Kelsey. I can't wait to guard him again. But it's like he's great. Now, don't get me wrong. Kelsey is one of the best. But at the same time, I don't see him. He's not willing to block. I don't see him doing that. He's more finesse. I don't see him. Well, I see him getting yak. But he doesn't run like you. He's bigger than you, so he should break a lot of tackles and stuff. He's just naturally big, but he's more finesse. Just like I see these D line, just like me and you had that talk about the D lineman. I'm not gonna say his name, but it's just more finesse instead of somebody who's downhill, who's gonna be finesse, but he's going to be physical as well. So I feel like those are the most dangerous guys, like guys that have all the tools in the toolbox.
Hey, so Jim, talking about guarding guys, you get any opportunities to guard Kyle Pitts this weekend?
Man, I don't know.
Maybe.
I think it's just like kind of how defense is. It's like whoever's in that spot. So I probably end up guarding more wide receivers than I guard him. Like I don't know. They may put him right there, but I feel like they're gonna move him around, like because they got kind of the similar offense like Coach Kyle. So I feel like they're gonna move around and get them a matchup that they like. But I'm pretty sure they're gonna match them up with me, so to see what's gonna happen. But I can't wait. I can't wait for the challenge. I'm first round. What pick did he go?
6. 8.
Oh, was it 4? It was 4. It was right after the quarterback. It was 4.
Yeah,
my
right.
bad.
3 quarterbacks. Yeah.
So I went.
Okay. So let's do this. No, you guys are great. Good conversation, but we're right around an hour, and I just want to respect everybody's time, and so we got to do a little bit. So we're gonna let me just because you guys brought up the game, let's just do a little bit on that and tie that knot. About the Falcons. And then we'll do the fashion. Then we'll do the fashion thing, Georgie, for that. So Niners coming in at 7-6, beat the Bengals. We already talked about overtime win 26-23. Falcons at 6-7, beat the Panthers last week 29-21. So big win on the road, overtime, and now, but we're kind of good. So it's 4 games out. Probably get to 9, get to 10 for sure. You're in with a comfy someplace to play, but it kind of depends. But that's later. This week, the Falcons. So a couple of history. Teams have played 80 times, with the Niners leading the series 47-32. And actually, I think they had a 12-year run in there where they never lost to them. However, Falcons have won 6 of the last 8 games that have played, including 2019 game in Levi's when you guys came back and thought it was going to be a little bit, breather. And then they freaking went off on us at the end of the fourth quarter, and we ended up losing, and then we had to scramble for the playoffs. But that's another story. All 6 of the Falcons' victories this year are by 1 score or less. So they've just been squeaking or losing. So anyway, so I know we talked about Kyle Pitts a little bit, obviously a very talented new player in the league and all that kind of stuff. So what do you guys know about him? It's a little bit later in the week than we usually record, so you've done a little bit more. But anyway, just a little summary, and then what are you looking for, and any players that we should be on the lookout for. So, Jimmy, you want to do the offense first a little bit? What are you seeing from Matt Ryan? Yeah, Kyle Pitts. What are they going to be doing, and what are we looking at?
Obviously, Matt Ryan's a great quarterback. He's a vet in the game. Very decisive thrower. Once he feels like if it's pressure in his face, he's going to throw the ball. He's going to trust his guys to be in certain spots. So it's opportunities out there to get picks if you just trust your eyes. But it's similar to Coach Kyle offense. Run first. They're going to try to develop a run. Running style game. One more thing too. They figured out 84. They figured out his position for him. And that's Cordell Patterson. They figured him out, man. And he's always been a playmaker. I watched him in college and this and that, but got him at running back, and he reminds me of Raheem mostly. Raheem / Debo, bigger body type, run hard. So he's taller, but guys and fast. Guys, he's a straight line running too. They line him up at wide receiver, so they're gonna come out with a lot of personnels too. So that's tricky. But I feel like we got D'Amico got a great game plan going into the game. Keep everything simple, keep everything in front of us when they start to move the personnel, because once you do all those personnels, you're really gonna run the same plays. It's too hard to come up with a new offensive scheme for new plays and all these different personnels. Besides that, of course, when the pass game, of course, they're going to try to force the ball to 8. They're going to try to make, first round draft pick, number 4 pick overall. They're going to try to get the ball to them some way, somehow, whether that's pick routes or whatever. And wide receivers, they got some other guys at wide receivers, quick, shorter wide receivers, fast. But the main person who's going to be getting the ball is 84 and number 8.
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
On the defensive side, they got Grady Jarrett is a defensive tackle who does not get a lot of respect. He has in the last 2 years, but he's a game changer. Like every single play, he can physically dominate the guy in front of him. And so, I don't really want to compare anyone to Aaron Donald, but you got to kind of treat him like Aaron Donald because he can screw you on every single play. And so that's going to be a huge challenge for our offensive line. I'm looking forward to seeing how they handle it. They got a bunch of injuries right now in the secondary, though. So hopefully something that we can, take advantage of. And I think it's going to be a good day. We had like I said, 97 is a big challenge for us this week because he had a series against, who was it? I want to say it was the Jets. He had a little series, I think, where he had like 3 plays in a row where he just assaulted the center or guard and got like a 4-yard tackle for loss. And then on third down got a sack. Like he ended the drive by himself. And if you can do that, I think you're pretty good at football. So we'll handle him. Try our best to, and hopefully come out. We got to get the run game going though. So I'm excited about our run offense this week. It's gonna pop a little bit. So I'm looking forward to Jeff Wilson getting the football some more.
Excellent. Okay. Well, we're obviously all excited. We're going to be there. I'm off tomorrow to get there, and so will Emma and Mom. So that'll be really good. Okay, so we're going to jump into the fashion preview in just a second. I did want to just note I was going to ask you, Jimmie, and you can think about this, but I don't want to take too much time. But 2015, you were named the Niners the Hazeltime Ironman Award for Courage and Inspiration, which is named the defensive coaches vote on it, I believe. And so, anyway, so that it felt like that was kind of a turning point, or at least some recognition about that. Hazeltime was a linebacker who, as I understand it, he suited up and played and started more games at linebacker than any other Niner in the history of the organization. So kind of just was always there during his years. So that's all pretty good. So I guess let's do the fashion preview then, Jimmie, and then come back and just, if you got somebody that has inspired you in your life, whether it's a player or another person, we can come back and kind of check on that. George, you want to do your fashion?
Yeah, so I'll start, Jimmie, and then you can follow me. This is the most important part of the show. Everyone's favorite thing about this show, the fashion preview, where we just show off a little bit of the swag that we're doing, what we walk into or what you're feeling on the week. Me this week, I'm gonna go with some Air Jordans, some Jordan 1s. I got these this offseason, huge fan of them. They're all red. It's velvet.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of these blues. I absolutely love them. I don't think I've shown these before, but in college we weren't really allowed to wear red just because it was like our rival school. Like, so I never wore any red. And the fact that I got to play for like a red team in the NFL, all my shoes now have some type of red in them because it's one of my favorite colors. But the red velvet, I think it's just got this nice, or suede, sorry, but it's got this nice look and feel to it. And they pop, but they're not like shiny and too obnoxious. I think the subtlety. Yeah, see, my chef likes them as well.
Good.
Well, what about you, Jim?
We've been subtle.
Yeah, man. I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go with these. DR shoes. I got that baby blue in there. Reminds me of Chucks. It's different little flavor with the. I don't know what type of material is this, but looks nice. But it's
a little higher. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I'm gonna I got a jacket to match it. So I don't know what jeans to wear with it right now. But I can mix it up because it's kind of like it's off-white, like cream, baby blue, and black. But yeah, I can't wait to put this on. Hopefully I get a good picture. Yeah,
I love it. Elite.
Well, that's pretty cool. Okay.
All right, then what were you going to ask him, Dad, about a player that he like?
Well, haven't gotten the Hazeltine Award for Courage and Inspiration, and being that for other players. I just wondered, over your lifetime, or whether now or earlier on, but was there a story or a player, or maybe it's a politician, I don't know, somebody that really inspired you about the way they lived, and maybe if it's an athlete, the way they played or something like that? Was there somebody you looked up to that you kind of modeled yourself after or was inspired by?
I would say, when I was young, I kept hearing, I kept saying like Michael Jordan this, Michael Jordan. So I used to tell people, yeah, Michael Jordan, because that's just what I used to hear in the media. And one day when I got older, I ended up watching this documentary on LeBron James, and it was More Than a Game. That's what it's called. I'm not sure if y'all watched it or not. And I just started watching it, and then it was just basically explaining like when he started playing since he was young, like 9 and up, all the way from middle school to high school. And I started to learn like who he was as a person. Then I started keeping up with him, like all the stuff that he was doing for his community, his losses, the adversity that he went through, his wins. Now until now, like with his family and all that. And I feel like that's somebody that's a good role model a person who I would look up to, because I just feel like he comes from a place where I come from, and he did it the right way. And he helped so many people. He touched so many lives, especially with him building that school too. Like I felt like, man, I never seen somebody that comes from where he comes from and did so much in his time, and he's still able to play a sport while doing all the stuff that he does for people. And somehow he's still able to have a hairline. I don't know how, but it's getting pushed back. But yeah, that's one person that motivates me, man, because like I said, he does a lot of stuff for the community, a lot of stuff for his family, his teammates. He helped other guys get paid. I know a lot of people be like, LeBron and this and that, but I feel like it's more than a game. Like once you get the opportunity at this level, like you're really in a position to touch other people's lives and help other people.
He has. I mean, between the school and then he made a huge thing for getting out the black vote, during the election, and put a lot of resources into it. I mean, he was instrumental in sports arenas opening up, to do registration and voting. He made things accessible in a way that they hadn't been, and putting his voice behind it. So, I mean, he's invested himself into a lot of kind of different causes that way. But yeah, he's clearly done a lot of things in that way. And I know there's some folks that have some issues about some other stuff, but that's pretty cool. So cool. George, you got an inspirational story for us? And then as long as we're going around, I don't want to leave you out.
An inspirational story for us?
Well, or somebody.
Oh, wow. You put me on the spot here.
Yeah.
But I have an inspirational story that I have not shared before. Holy cow. I'm trying to think. I've shared a lot of stories on here, Pops. You got to eat. I wish I would have gotten this in the. Somebody gave me a heads up. Stalling.
It's all good. How about then? So we're kind of. You can think about that. I don't know. Emmy, do you want to do the? I'm just thinking, Em, right now with the time. I don't know if we can do all the recovery stuff. Are you with me? So do you want to jump down and do the kind of the service and giving back stuff?
Yeah, for sure. So, so much football. I feel like sometimes I glaze over when you guys get really techie, but I know we didn't even get into it because I wanted to talk free safety, strong safety. I want to check in on corner, nickel. I kind of want to get a whiteboard out and okay, talk to me about this. And I had a lot of questions about different coverages and kind of packages and run fits. But anyway, this is clearly not the time for that. So we'll have to try that another day because I look at that world and watch. Jimmie, we're going to have you back on the podcast so we can really dive into some.
Just do football. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll start there. I told you.
Here, I'll show you I got a 6x5 whiteboard. So we whiteboard like crazy here. So it's all good. All right. Okay. Emmy, run us through. Good. Thank you.
Well, so a huge part of Hidden Pearls podcast is trying to highlight the different Hidden Pearls. So the different people and the organizations who are really doing a lot of the work in the community. And so what we like to do with our athletes is to talk about the role of service and giving back. And so always looking to give back and help others and try to encourage our listeners to also do the same. So Jimmie, can you just talk a little bit about what was the role of community service for you growing up and then college, and then maybe how that has transitioned into the NFL?
I feel like just growing up, since I was in a house, I was the baby of four. I was always taught to give. My mom always told me, "Oh, it's better to give than receive," and I was like, "Oh, maybe. Or why can't I just receive and give?" And she's loud. Like I said, she's a church lady and this and that. But so just growing up, stuff I used to do. I used to go to church every Sunday. I used to have to work for the church, and mainly, I know every holiday, Thanksgiving, I help feed people who's in need for a Thanksgiving meal. Same thing with Christmas too. They kind of cook the same food for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Yeah. But it was cool, and I helped some of the older people out too around my neighborhood too. Like I used to have to cut their grass when I was young. I used to cut their grass and stuff, and had to take out their trash. It is for free, so I feel like that was pretty cool, and they thanked me, and I felt good after I did it. That's the main thing, right? When you're helping people and you feel good, feel better as a person after doing it. And as I got older, since I was so used to doing it, I ended up doing it. My dad was he's still in a biker club. So we set up in the neighborhood, set up Thanksgiving meals, and then we'll have before every school year, we have school supplies like book bag and school supplies that we hand out in the neighborhood. I don't have a foundation. It's just I didn't learn about a foundation until like year 5 or 6. People tell me, tax free and this and that. But I just feel like I don't know. I don't want to do all that. I just kind of do it, and just because I feel better about doing it, because I know that I got it, that I could help some people and stuff. And then I know a lot of people that's in need, family members as well. There's a lot of people who I grew up with that needs the help. And for every Christmas too, for the last 3 Christmases, I give away like game systems. Where I get that idea from, I have no clue. Maybe because I loved the game when I was younger, and when my game broke, I just used to always go to my friend's house to play the game, and I just try to help kids out that don't have a game system, and like, maybe this could and help them out or something, keep them out of trouble. I prefer you to go outside and get, and run around. Nowadays, it's different. A lot of kids staying indoors and staying on the PC and video games. But, I just feel like I'm helping some way. I feel like I'm doing something. I may touch a few lives, but hopefully that's enough.
No, it's all good. Yeah. And I wouldn't feel bad about not having a foundation, because Georgie didn't have one either, because you got to have a board of directors, you got to incorporate, you got tax returns. So there's a lot to that, unless you're going to be doing some big projects. So it's all good. I mean, helping where you can help and doing all those kind of things. So, all right. Very cool. Then I'm just going to give a plug. So we'll have another 6 veterans that we've been bringing. We've been bringing National Guard veterans. We got 6 more California National Guard veterans coming to the game this week. So we're excited about that. And that'll be part of the podcast. So you'll have our team leader, her bio this week, and then the other 5 folks who are joining. So we're excited. And feel privileged to be able to do that. And then just also another word, shout out, we're going to have a kind of a supplemental show coming up with management, Kevin from Fix Kicks, and our partners at Second Harvest. We're doing a food drive over at Fix Kicks. It will be December 28th. It's a Tuesday. So we're still kind of getting the exact hours. So it'll be, late afternoon, early evening. George will be on site, and we might be able to recruit maybe a couple other Niners to show up. But anyway, so for certain donations and that, you can get autographed and/or a picture and those kind of things. We're obviously monitoring things and availability based on kind of the increase in COVID protocols that have just announced today with the NFL. So we're still going to have to adapt to that. So we'll see. But anyway, there'll be a lot available online, and we're going to work on that. So just mark your calendars, December 28th, and we'll have the address and all that stuff. So watch that in the notes. So we'll be working on those pieces. So excellent. Georgie, you want to close us out then?
Yeah. All right. So Jimmie, thanks for talking to us about, everything.
Great.
Yes. Love listening to you talk, and I thank you for all the questions you've asked me. So how we end each show is we kind of give something, it's called Where is the Hope? So like, what is something that this week or at this point of your life is giving you hope? Or it's just like encouraging you to, be better every single day. And so like examples I've used is like earlier in the season, football was back, fans are back. That gave me hope. Thanksgiving, just the holidays give me hope. Like for me right now, one thing that gives me hope and like just gets me excited is this time of the year, because you're getting into Christmas, and I love Christmas. But it's also the time where it's basically just NFL football that's on. College football's over, hockey's rolling, NBA's rolling, but like this is like the nitty gritty of the NFL season where teams come to play, and every week's a playoff game, and you just kind of feel the energy in each game just kind of lifts up a little bit, the anticipation of each game, the stakes of every game. And I don't know if it makes me hopeful or if it just makes me damn excited to play football every single Sunday. And I'm excited about that. So that's what gives me hope this week is playoffs are approaching, and each week is going to be a fun one.
Football.
I love it.
Yeah, good. Okay. Yeah, well, the hope. So, Jimmie, I appreciate you chatting and sharing with us. And just, I guess, too, I love hearing the story about kind of you developing your own kind of level of awareness, paying attention to what high school was like. And when you went up to Northern Illinois, consciously making some choices about that. And then I think, too, just, I don't know mobile very well, but I know there's some challenges there growing up. You know what I mean? And I know you had a solid family that was working with you and helping you and all that, but that's not easy. And then, you talked a little bit too about, being in Alabama, being black and being in sweats and that whole thing. And so that would probably be another show that, to kind of debrief some of those kind of things. So I know those things, but the reality is you went to Northern Illinois and worked hard, and you went from they described you as a 2-star. I don't know what exactly that means, but, not highly recruited. And you come out as a first-round draft choice, and you've fought and persevered. And we love to do stuff on mindset and mental preparation. So we just kind of ran out of time on that. But I'd love to chat with you a little bit more about that too, because you obviously have a lot of resiliency built in. You got to be a really hard worker to maintain it. And the other thing too is overcoming some failures at the beginning, right? Because they move you to nickel and you don't know what you're doing. And you just have to play and survive and keep finding a way to get better and figure things out. And that's not easy to do, especially when a fan base can be as brutal as they can be. So anyway, a lot of kudos to you for your courage and hard work and sticking to it. And I think that's a really hopeful story. And that here you are sitting in year 8. You've learned a lot about yourself and about life and about football and about survival. And we're glad you're on the team, and we're glad you can share some of those lessons and kind of maybe make it a little bit easier for some other folks to make that transition and survive in the NFL for whatever they can, because still the average is under 4 years. And so the fact that you're in year 8 and looking to continue is amazing. So anyway, congratulations on everything you've done. And we appreciate you sharing your story with us. And I hope people can learn some lessons from that and feel as inspired as we are from it. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Kittle. Thank you, Emma. Have a great night. I appreciate y'all for having me on the show.
All right.
Thanks,
very
Jim.
cool. Thanks, Jimmie.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for sticking around for the show. Thank you, Jimmie. That was a really fun interview. Hopefully, like we were saying, we'd love to get him back on the show and do a little bit more football mindset, maybe recovery, all the things. But if you guys want to give us a little holiday gift, maybe go and subscribe, give us a 5-star review, and actually write a review on Apple Podcasts. It really helps us to get our message out, helps us to reach more people. You can share our posts. We're on Hidden Pearls Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and on TikTok, and Hidden Pearls Pod on Twitter if you want to follow along. If you guys ever need anything or want to reach out, you can do so at info@thunderbirdperformance.com. So with that, happy holidays, y'all, and go Niners.